You know, gotta keep the tradition. Gotta keep on starting my videos. Me in this position, all the way, camera all the way over there, looking at Green's frame. You know, it has to happen. This is part 2, the Rowan chassis. I don't have my camera holder with me, so that's why you're kind of lower. You can't really see any of this. So I'll play the videos, you know, as normal, and it'll show before all this. So I need to stop wasting time. Yeah. All right, we're back. We got our hubs, rotors, and bearing assembly put back together on both sides with our brake mounts. We'll get to the steering linkages, then we'll get to the power steering gearbox. So we'll start with the hub rotor assembly. So last video we talked about the spindle assembly with the kingpin, the bearings, bushings, and grease zerks, and then all the suspension components. Well, now the hub rotor studs, we anti-seized them and took them out, cleaned everything, anti-seized the face where the hub meets the rotor, and then pressed the studs back in. In here, let's see it like this better. The spindle, it had a shaft sticking out, a tapered shaft sticking out. There's a bearing surface here and the seal surface behind the bearing, and then a bearing here. The big bearing goes here, the smaller bearing goes here. And then you have your nut with a washer, and then I don't know what the cup washer, not washer. It's like a nut that we put on top of the other nut. It's very thin. Anyway, it had, looked like a castle nut on top, and then you put a cotter pin through, and then you put your cap on, and then we painted it. So it's like that on both sides with your rock shield as well, or whatever shield, and your bracket for your brakes. And these year models, the brakes went in the front, steering went in the back. It looks exactly the same, spins perfect. Steering actually went through the control arm. Very interesting. Steering linkages. We have our small bar here. It's been split into two. This is the assembly. You just thread it in there. And then you have your big bar, your small bar, your small piece. Let's see if I can move it just with one hand. So your longer bar, let's see if I remember what he told me. This longer bar would go to driver's side assembly, driver's side spindle. So this would be driver's side, no movement at all. This one goes into the big bar on the steering assembly. We got movement, left, right, whatever, but no up and down. Facing like this, no up and down. This shaft does not move up and down, it just moves around. Just a little bit of play like that, it's fine. This one, on the other hand, this one's just like the other one. That one's fine. Not only that, see if I can get it on. It moves up and down. I don't know if I caught that. Maybe that right there, you can see that. No. So we're gonna, apparently you can't just replace this. I guess it's a ball joint. You can't replace these ball joints, you have to buy the whole thing. So if we could buy this thing by itself, that should be fine, but I think we're just gonna go ahead and get the whole linkage set up. So that's those two bars with that assembly, that connection, and then this long one. So after that, that's everything out here. And after we get the steering linkages and the power steering, which is next, I'm fixing to go show you, which I think the gearbox goes right here, these 3 bolts. I may be wrong. No, I'm right. They were wrong. And then we would have our rolling chassis, which is cool. There's our gear, or we need to put in that axle. All right, let's go look at the gearbox before we paint it and rebuild it. All right, in our shop, this is the housing. This is your input. Input goes in here, and I'll show you. You have your long shaft, and this is your output with the pitman arm. This is the top, or the adjusting. Adjusting goes right in the middle, and you have your 2 bars. So what I'm talking about, this is the long shaft that goes in there. See if I can explain this. This is the real test real quick. Here's your pitman arm. The pitman arm goes to the steering linkages. And this is the input steering link. So this one would go from a bar connecting to the steering wheel. There would be a rubber disc holding in between. Think of it as a circle with 2 dots for these 2 holes. 2 holes for these 2 pegs. What am I doing here? So this is your input. This goes up to, hooks up to here. This turns this worm gear, which turns this big chunk of metal, which has a ball input. There's the balls, which moves this back and forth, up and down, whatever you want to look. So it moves it exactly like this. With those 3 teeth right there, hook up to this bar right here with these 3 teeth, which is the output bar. That's where the pitman arm goes. And when you move this left, right, this is a piston, left and right, it moves this gear, and it's basically like this. I may be exaggerating a lot, but it's in this motion like this, which turns the output pitman arm, and that's your power steering. Now, how the help, why it makes it feel easy. When I said piston, this is your piston side. You have 2 pressure chambers, and when you move your steering wheel, it imbalances the pressure chambers. So if you want to turn this way, whatever this way is, I don't know. The imbalance, this one would, I'm pretty sure I'm saying this right. I might have to leave it in the description to explain the whole thing. I don't think there's videos on this either, but it shouldn't be that hard to figure out. Imbalance in this system, this one has more fluid, and it pushes it over. Well, you know, the steering wheel, if you ever driven a truck or even a car, the steering wheel almost naturally wants to go back to a spot. Well, that's the pressures wanting to balance out. You have this side and you have this side. But they want to balance out, so that's what you're feeling. If you have questions on how this power steering works, I could probably explain it in comments better, or I might add something, link to a video. I don't think I did a good job. If you were here in person, I could probably explain this better. But, you know, this is where that piston goes in the hole. And this is where that shaft goes. You can kind of see the hole, the shaft, and then the gear, the teeth. So the piston moves like this, and that shaft moves like this. So, let's actually talk about this thing instead of explaining why it works, which I don't even know how I got here. There's more complicated things that I didn't go over, like the valve body, input and output, which are these 2 ports. I don't know which one's bigger than the other. From what we gathered, what we looked at, there is some rust in here. Water has gotten in here, but this is rebuildable, and we're going to clean it today in our shop. But we're gonna clean it, find the seal kit for it, replace some bearings. These little bitty thin bearings right here. There's one right there, and then there's one on the other side of the washer. This is a washer. Yeah, surprised too. After we put it back together, then we'll paint it and go from there. So after that, you should see the steering linkages and the gearbox rebuilt, put on the chassis, and that concludes our rolling chassis. Everything else will be different. You got the whole grill hardware stuff. Light bulbs are in that egg container right here. Your engine mounts, fuel port, whatever, and other brackets. But anyway, this has been really cool. So enough wasting your time. Yeah. All right, so we're back. Oh, almost tripped and died there. Nothing with, well, I guess we did do something with the rear. We'll get to the calipers and steering. I'll add some information that I didn't include or didn't understand, so I don't want to spread misinformation. Differential's full of oil now. Finally, we put the axle on there it was like 3 weeks ago or so. And then just a couple of days we filled it up with oil. Oh yeah, we're just so cool like that. Turned smooth. We tilted it up so oil would go down to the bearings. I'm pretty sure that'd be the only reason, or maybe to lubricate the seals down there too, or both. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure the bearings, I'm pretty sure the oil gets down there. But anyway, if I'm not, and you know, ain't the first time I'm wrong on the channel. So the old steering linkages, there's this bar right here, and then the rest of them, we got new ones. We put the calipers and rebuilt them. Put the steering gearbox on there, rebuilt that. I showed videos of that, but I'm gonna go over them real quick. I don't know what I said with the brakes, but we done them silver. There's pistons right here in these little cavities, and they push the calipers, and since it's one bracket, or they push the brake pads. Pistons push the brake pads, which puts pressure on this spinny thing called a rotor. Puts pressure on it, that's what slows your vehicle down. So we already had that rebuilt. I'm pretty sure I already gone over that. This is your line. This is your bleeder bolt. You unscrew it and it leaks, so you get all your air out of the system. So there's that. We had to do some special stuff with the seals since we couldn't find the seals that went onto this black bracket right here. Sealed here and here. Well, we had to use rubber boots. So we'll see how far that gets us. Steering linkage. There's your little bar with your adjuster, and then your small bar, and then your long bar. Long bar goes up to the steering gearbox or pitman arm. Goes to the passenger side, and then your other linkages hook up there. Rebuilt, just replaced the seals and painted it. Cleaned it too, that was nasty. Video I just made about this, of the piston balancing in here, wanting to find the balancing. That's why your vehicle wants to go straight. I was incorrect about that. And it doesn't, but it prevents it from moving to one side or another. What turns it, like what I was talking about, you're driving your vehicle and it almost naturally wants to go straight. It's the suspension, not the steering gearbox. So I was incorrect about that. Hopefully you didn't listen to that. As of right now, we got it adjusted as well where there's hardly any play. There's slightest play in there, but that's the play that it needs. Or I think we took all the play out. Either way, other side is the exact same. I mean, I don't want to move it too much, but I'll move it just to show y'all. Just like that. Turn it up here. Pretty cool. Got the wheels out. So when we first got green here, we set, well, we call it a girl or boy. It doesn't matter. Two genders. Set it right here and took the tires off. It was a long time before we took the tires off. But when this shop had dirt floor, we're gonna call her a girl because this sounds way better. We put the tires in the rear of the shop in this corner. Well, since we were cleaning out the shop, put this concrete floor here, they went to that storage container back there. Not this one, there's a blue one right there. Had to go rescue those things. Those dirt daubers were angry. I had to sword fight 2 of them. But that's it right now. Steering linkages, brakes. Hopefully this video won't be too long. And once again, I apologize for not showing any of this. I'm recording this on the phone. I can't record all this with all the storage that I have. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna finish all this, tighten up and finish the linkages and whatnot. Put the tires on and have a rolling chassis. We're not gonna put the hubcaps on. We're gonna eventually repaint those. We're gonna be putting the tires on to move it around and whatnot. And then we're gonna be on that engine transmission, 390 or 91, don't know what people call it. And I think it's a C something. Dang it. It's a C6. I want to say C6, but I don't think that's right. And then the cab work. So, but this video is going to be for the rolling chassis. So, get the tires on, move it around. I'll show y'all what it looks like with the tires on whenever we get them on. So, yeah. All right, here we are. The conclusion, the result, the end of part 2, yeah? All right, we finally have our rolling chassis. Ever since we started this project about a year ago, you can see there's no weight on the chassis. This is the first time this frame or this chassis has been under its own suspension in a little over a year. It's like a year and a half or so. Finally got everything, rebuilt, repainted, checked, whatever, resealed, everything. Put the tires on. We only got 4 lugs. Put it on. Got it off the sawhorses. And we're in a cleaning shop mode because we got to the engine. I'll show that here in a little bit. But as far as this video is concerned, this is this video. The next video is probably going to be on that transmission engine, which I'll go show it. So yeah, she's rolling again. I was messing around a while ago and I stood on this tire. You can kind of see a footprint here and here, and it started to roll. So we got our little chocks. We probably need better chocks. So there's that rolling chassis. Oh yeah, exciting. Now let's get to the engine. These are our radiator hoses. We'll get to everything over there on the other side of the table. Here's the engine and trans. So last time you saw this was on a wooden pallet here. At first there's a wooden pallet there, but now it's here. And now there's no more wooden pallet. We took it off. We got the engine up, separated from the transmission, just about all the accessories taken off, carburetor, and spark plugs taken out. This is what she looks like now. Stop yapping. We needed to take the spark plugs out, which they look fine. This is basically what they all look. But that's another video. This is pretty cool too. So the transmission shim, there's a shim and then the flex plate. Flex plate goes right here. Flex plate bolts up to this torque converter. Torque converter spins the transmission. I'll make videos on this later when we finish it. This is behind the transmission shim. Look at this. I'm pretty sure that's factory paint. This is the 72. What is that now? That is, I don't know, but it's over 50 years. I'm pretty sure it's over 55 years. It still has paint like that. Thought that was pretty cool. Transmission. Torque converter. Torque converter has a drain plug right there. Thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, no. As for this video, it's basically done. I need to stop wasting time. Got our intake, AC compressor, carburetor, starter, alternator, fan for the radiator, power steering pump, distributor with the cables. Oh, the belts. There's 3 belts. This is the flex plate. That's the transmission shim that I was talking about. So, in conclusion, the rolling chassis part 2 is finished. So next video of sequence of videos is going to be the engine. Yeah, so cool. So I'll let this go.